I loved old houses. Their creaky floors and dusty attics whispered forgotten stories. I dreamt of owning one, restoring it to its former glory. One day I found it, Blackwood Manor, a sprawling Victorian home perched on a hill overlooking the town.
Locals told her to stay away, their faces etched with fear as they mumbled about the house's dark history. But Megan, captivated by its Gothic charm, dismissed their warnings as superstitious nonsense. She bought the house, eager to unravel its secrets.
The first few weeks were blissful. I reveled in the silence, the only sounds the chirping of crickets and the rustling leaves. I spent my days stripping wallpaper, uncovering intricate patterns that hinted at the house's grandeur. At night, I'd sit by the fireplace, a cup of tea warming my hands, imagining the lives once lived within those walls. I felt a strange sense of peace, a feeling of belonging I hadn't expected.
Blackwood Manor was more than just a house. It was a living, breathing entity. Megan felt drawn to its every nook and cranny, compelled to uncover its secrets.
The grand staircase, with its polished banisters, seemed to beckon me upwards. The library, with its musty smell and towering bookshelves, whispered tales of forgotten lore. I found solace in the house's embrace, feeling more at home within its aging walls than I ever had anywhere else.
As days turned into weeks, a strange unease began to creep into Megan's heart. It started subtly, a floorboard creaking when no one else was home, the feeling of being watched from the shadows. She dismissed these occurrences as her imagination playing tricks, the product of the locals' spooky stories. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted, growing steadily with each passing day. The silence of Blackwood Manor, once a source of comfort, became oppressive. It was a living silence, punctuated by sounds that sent shivers down Megan's spine.
Soft whispers, barely audible, seemed to emanate from the walls, as if the house itself were trying to communicate. They spoke of sorrow, of anger, of an unspeakable evil that clung to the house like a shroud.
At night, the whispers grew louder, morphing into guttural growls that seemed to originate from the depths of the house. Megan would lie awake, her heart pounding in her chest, as the unseen entity paced outside her door. Fear, cold and suffocating, became a constant companion, driving her to the brink of madness. Driven by fear and a strange sense of responsibility, Megan delved into the history of Blackwood Manor. She spent hours in the local library, poring over dusty records and faded newspaper clippings.
The name that appeared again and again, intertwined with tales of tragedy and madness, was Elias Graves, the original owner of the manor.
Elias, a wealthy industrialist, was rumored to be a cruel man, feared by the townsfolk. Stories circulated of strange disappearances, of servants who entered the manor but were never seen again.
I discovered a hidden room in the attic, its walls covered in strange symbols and diagrams. It was clear that Elias had been involved in something dark, something sinister that had stained the very fabric of the house. The more I learned about Elias Graves, the more disturbed I became.
Local legend painted him as a man obsessed with the occult, dabbling in rituals forbidden by both man and God. He sought immortality, whispering to the shadows, making deals with entities beyond human comprehension. His wealth fueled his obsession, allowing him to build Blackwood Manor as a sanctuary for his twisted experiments.
The whispers seemed to intensify as I unearthed more of Elias's secrets. It was as if the house itself were reacting to my discoveries, warning me to turn back, to leave the past buried. But I was too deep now, my curiosity a raging fire that consumed all reason and logic. I had to know the truth, even if it destroyed me.
One particularly chilling account detailed the fate of a young housemaid named Anya. Anya, known for her beauty and gentle nature, had caught Elias's eye. He promised her wealth and a life beyond her wildest dreams, but his intentions were far from pure. He saw in Anya a vessel for his dark magic, a sacrifice to appease the entities he sought to control.
Anya, realizing the true nature of Elias's desires, tried to flee Blackwood Manor. But Elias, fueled by his obsession, captured and imprisoned her within the very walls of the house.
He performed his rituals, chanting incantations, attempting to bind Anya's life force to his own, to cheat death itself. But something went wrong, terribly wrong. The ritual backfired. unleashing a wave of malevolent energy that consumed Elias and trapped Anya's soul within the confines of Blackwood Manor. Driven by a growing sense of dread, Megan discovered a hidden passage behind a bookcase in the library. The air grew heavy, thick with the stench of decay and the feeling of unseen eyes watching her every move. The passage, narrow and damp, descended deep into the bowels of the house, leading to a cold stone cellar.
In the center of the cellar, I found it. A heavy iron ring bolted to the floor. Chains, rusted with age, lay coiled nearby, as if waiting for their next victim. It was a chilling reminder of Elias's cruelty, a testament to the horrors that had unfolded within those walls.
Megan could almost hear Anya's screams echoing in the darkness, her pleas for mercy drowned out by the laughter of a madman. Following her chilling discovery, the supernatural activity in Blackwood Manor escalated. The whispers became screams, filled with rage and despair. Objects moved on their own, furniture overturned, mirrors shattered. The house seemed to be tearing itself apart from the inside out, consumed by the same dark energy that had consumed its former master.
One night, I awoke to find my bedroom door wide open. Standing in the doorway, bathed in an unnatural light, was the translucent figure of a young woman. Her eyes, filled with an unspeakable sadness, locked onto mine.
Help!
Fear gave way to a strange sense of determination. Megan, convinced that Anya's spirit was trapped within the house, resolved to help her find peace. She researched ancient rituals, desperate to find a way to break the curse that bound Anya to Blackwood Manor. She spoke to the whispers, hoping to reason with the entity, to offer solace to the tormented soul.
I gathered candles, herbs, and ancient texts, recreating the ritual site in the cellar where Anya had been imprisoned. Standing within the circle of flickering candlelight, I called out to Anya, my voice trembling with both fear and determination. Please cross over. Find peace in the afterlife.
For a moment, everything went silent. Then, the house erupted. The floor shook violently, throwing Megan off her feet. The air crackled with energy, the whispers reaching a deafening crescendo. A cold wind whipped around her, extinguishing the candles and plunging the cellar into darkness.
Blinded and disoriented, I cried out, reaching for something, anything to steady myself.
Then, as quickly as it began, it stopped. Silence descended once more, heavier, more oppressive than before. Megan, her heart pounding in her chest, slowly rose to her feet. She fumbled for her phone, the cold metal a comfort in the darkness. She turned on the flashlight, its beam dancing across the stone walls. But she was alone. The iron ring stood empty, the chains lying coiled on the floor. Megan had vanished, leaving behind no trace except for the lingering whispers and the chilling knowledge that some houses are best left undisturbed. Blackwood Manor still stands on that hill, a brooding silhouette against the skyline. Locals avoid it, their whispers a constant reminder of the horrors that transpired within its walls. The house remains empty, its windows dark, its doors boarded shut. But some say on quiet nights, if you listen closely enough, you can still hear them. The whispers in the walls, the echoes of a tragedy long past. And sometimes, when the wind is just right, a single name, carried on the breeze, seems to hang in the air, a mournful plea lost to the ages. Megan. The whispers are a warning, a reminder that some secrets are best left buried, that some doors should never be opened. For within the walls of Blackwood Manor, the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting, whispering its tales of sorrow and despair to anyone foolish enough to listen. And sometimes it claims new victims, their fates forever intertwined with the tragic history of the house on the hill.